very good evening and welcome to BCN News. Our top story tonight is an announcement from government that the index case, or first case of community transmission outside managed isolation in South Auckland, was from a family with links to Niue. The following day, the New Zealand Ministry of Health confirmed to the Niue government that the index case was from a family with links to Niue. The index case had been symptomatic for 5 days and returned a positive test. The rest of the family were tested, where an additional 3 cases returned positive. There is no clear history of overseas travel among those affected, so the source of infection is currently unknown but is being investigated by Public Health Unit in Auckland. Further details on contact tracing and testing are being followed up by public health authorities in New Zealand. At this stage, there is no indication from those contacts that anyone in the family or their close contacts has travelled to Niue recently. The Ministry of Health reiterates that from a public health perspective, the absence of source does not yet constitute community transmission. This determination has not yet been made. The government of Niue says it will keep everyone updated as new information is received about this evolving situation. It says their thoughts and prayers are with the affected family for a speedy recovery. Telecom Niue has assured there will be no increase in the pricing of internet services from the Manatua cable. There has been delays in the launch of the submarine cable, according to Telecom Niue's technical manager Roy Pavihi.
We have not yet finalized the pricing. We have yet to submit to Cabinet the total costing and the pricing for the utilization of the Manatua cable. This has been delayed due to other stakeholders within the consortium, which is Tahiti, Samoa and the Cook Islands, and we're hoping we can fast track these negotiations between all these main stakeholders so we can submit to Cabinet what the future price is for and the usage for the Manatua cable. But I can assure that the prices for the use of the Manatua cable will not be increased or going up, but we will be expecting a better and robust service once we utilize the Manatua cable.
Meanwhile, works on installing a 4G tower in the village of Liku has been stopped due to land issues.
Initially, we planned on installing a 4G tower in the village of Liku. The project started, but due to some land issues within the village, we have stopped the tower build and we have relocated to a new place, which is going to be at the Paliasi Education Main Center. But at the moment, this is on hold now until we complete some procedures before we can actually start the tower build.
The new Australian High Commissioner Designate has arrived in Niue and is undergoing 14 days of quarantine. BCN News understands that prior to arriving in Niue, she was in managed isolation for 14 days in New Zealand. BCN News have reached out to DFAT in Wellington and are waiting more information. The Australian High Commissioner Designate will be starting work on 24th August, where she is expected to present her credentials to the Premier of Niue, Honourable Delton Tagilangi. Finance Minister Crosley Tatui joined the 2 days virtual meeting of the Forum Economic Ministers, which ended on Tuesday. The Forum Economic Ministers meeting is a regional meeting of the Ministers of Finance and Economic, which first started in 1997. Minister Tatui says the most important agenda items at the meeting are the socio-economic impacts of COVID-19 and the ongoing threats of climate change and natural disasters.
The ministers are responsible for finance and economic development to share experiences, particularly at this point in time, the approaches to the COVID-19 drastic impact on the economies. We will share the same experiences, and on the same note, the strategies that we have put in place on a country basis to help counter the impact of COVID-19. The other key issue, and it's ongoing, due to the impact of climate change and natural disasters on Pacific economies. Each year we are affected by natural cyclones, and it's very important that we prepare beforehand to counter any negative impacts from these natural disasters.
And the fisheries ministers from member countries of the Pacific Islands Forum Fisheries agencies have expressed serious concerns about the unprecedented impacts of COVID-19 on their domestic economies. This was during the 17th FFC ministers' meeting last week. Ministers have expressed strengthened commitments to regional solidarity and collaboration as central to confronting the impacts of the pandemic in the Pacific. They have also emphasized the importance of protecting the fisheries sector given its important economic and food security benefits. Niue's Minister for Natural Resources, Mona Ainu, was part of the virtual meeting.
There was a lot of call for regional solidarity that is very important for us. Over the years, we talk a lot about solidarity or cooperation, but really when it comes to a lot of the decisions, there has been some division in different parts of the Pacific region in regards to those who are parties to some agreement and those who are not. In Niue's case, we are not part of the main agreement of the Nauru, the parties to the Nauru Agreement, or PNA. So we have to work very hard or extra hard to make sure that we receive some benefits from our fisheries sector. Over the years, we have been very fortunate with the Secretary of the Forum Fisheries Agency in the last few years, led by Dr. Manu Tuparusan, and she has been very active in making sure that the value of our fisheries resources is recognized by those who fish in our EEZ, or those. We are fortunate also that we do not have many boats that fish in our EEZ, and there's a lot of monitoring and surveillance assisted by FFA as well as New Zealand. So we're very fortunate. But in regards to the times that we have arrived, there also needed to be a review of our strategies that are in place, as well as review some of the work and activities that have been put aside or proposed by the Commission as well as the members. Certainly for us here in Niue, we're very fortunate that our fisheries team, Dr. Josie Tamate, as well as the Director of Fisheries, Boyo Kasene, as well as the staff, have been very active in trying to work out better ways for Niue to receive some funds. And there's also working as well with NGOs, especially the Tofia Niue. We have been working on a lot of avenues and cooperating, like that of the NOW project between Niue, the Niue government and an NGO entity here on the island. So a lot of work is going in for us just to make sure that we stay our presence is recognized in the negotiations, which has always been very difficult for us, but with our experts, I'm very happy as a minister to say that we have achieved a lot in the last few years.
And that was your BCN News for tonight and for the week. Thank you for joining us. Do join us same time on Monday. Until then, you have a safe weekend.